Now get Deuteronomy 76, because what we are to teach is that you God's chosen people according to the Bible. Now we know a lot of times in church and on TV, they show us that Jesus was a white man. They show us that the people in the Bible was white. But guess what? You God's chosen people according to the Bible. You understand that? And let's see what God said about you, sis. Deuteronomy 76.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So what did God say you was, sis? He said you holy unto him. To the man, the same man that created the heavens and the earth, the grass and everything around, he said you holy, sis. Read.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
He did what, sis? He chose you. Read.
To be a special people unto himself.
So God said you supposed to be what, sis? God said you special. Not everybody. God said he have you as a special person. You understand that? Read.
Above all people.
So God said you supposed to be what? Above all people. Read.
That are upon the face of the earth.
So sis, God said you, even though we in the hoods, we in the ghettos, God said you supposed to be above all people that's on the face of the earth. You understand that? Now let me ask you a question. Why do you smoke cigarettes? Because when I talk to a lot of people, a lot of our people smoke cigarettes for the same reason. Come chop it up with me, sis. A lot of times we smoke cigarettes because we started off smoking weed or because we depressed. Why do you smoke cigarettes? Be real.
I got depression.
Depression, right? So give me Jeremiah 17 and 4 first. Jeremiah 17 and 4. What a lot of our people don't understand is the Bible shows us how to deal with all of our situations. Why? Because the Bible is a black man's book. Anything that we as black and Hispanics go through, the Bible tells us how to overcome that. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Now watch this. Jeremiah 17 and 4.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself.
So Jeremiah said the Israelites, God's chosen people, the blacks and Hispanics, read.
Shall discontinue from thine heritage.
So Jeremiah said we will do what in 2020? Get discontinued from our what? From our heritage. Our heritage is the Bible. Our heritage tells us that we're supposed to be above all people. Our heritage tells you that your body is supposed to be a temple. Our heritage tells us how to deal with depression. Go to SIRACH 30:21. Because you got to understand, if we gonna say that we royalty, because our sisters like to say, oh, I'm a queen, trap queen this, trap queen that. We like to say we royalty, but royalty has to hold themselves to certain standards.
That's right.
You'll never see Donald Trump on TV smoking a cigarette. Why? Because in his mind, we know he's the damn devil, but in his mind, he's royalty. You understand that? You'll never see the governor of Texas rolling up a blunt, because in his mind, he's royalty. We have to get back to our mindset of royalty. Even though we deal with depression, even though we deal with all these things, the Bible shows us the way out. So let's see how God said you're supposed to deal with depression. Read.
SIRACH chapter 3 verse 30, verse 21. Give not thy mind over to heaviness.
So God said, since you're not supposed to give your mind over to heaviness, what does that mean? No, he said, don't give your mind to heaviness. What does that mean?
That means give your problems to him.
Right, that means don't get depressed. Don't give your mind over to depression. That's what heaviness is. Read.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Do you know what it means when it says afflict not thyself in thy own counsel? That's okay if you don't. Afflict, the word afflict means to make something hard on yourself. To counsel means your own advice. So what you do when you smoke a cigarette is you make your own life harder because you're trying to escape depression. Because let's say you smoke weed, you don't, but you smoke cigarettes. When you get that, because cigarettes, they give you that calming feeling, right? What happened when that feeling go away? What you do? You got the same problem, and then what you do? You smoke another cigarette. So what do it say on the back of that package? What's going to happen to you if you keep smoking cigarettes? 1 Corinthians 3. They say you can get cancer. You understand that? So you say you dealing with depression. Let's say you get evicted. You smoke a cigarette. After that feeling of you smoking that cigarette go away, you smoke another cigarette. And then eventually you become a pack-a-day smoker. Because we know people that's like that in the hood, right? A pack-a-day smoker. So let's see what God said going to happen if you keep smoking those cigarettes, sis.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So God says, sis, you are the temple of God. God said your body is supposed to be special. For example, what a temple will be today will be considered like the White House. Can anybody just run up in the White House? God said your body supposed to be that same way. You can't just let any man run up in there. You ain't supposed to just be putting any food or any tosses in there. Because God said your body is special. You understand that? Read.
And that the Spirit of God...
Hey, sis, we teaching that our people, the so-called blacks and Hispanics, sis, on a motorcycle, we God's chosen people. You chosen according to the Bible. Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
So God said his Spirit is in you, whether you know it or like it or not right now. You understand? Read.
If any man defile the temple of God.
So what does it mean to defile the temple of God? God said if any man defile his temple, harm his temple. So let me ask you, how do you defile your temple when you're smoking cigarettes? You said it a while ago.
You harm your temple by smoking because you're not supposed to be smoking.
Because you ain't supposed to be smoking, especially not that crap. The white man tell you what's in it. That's crafty.
You used to smoke.
Huh? I used to smoke weed, but I never smoked cigarettes. But I understand. I know a lot of people that do smoke cigarettes and a lot of people that stop. You understand?
The weed and the cigar.
I used to. Yeah, that's tobacco. I understand
Yeah,
that. But guess what? I did it for the same reason you did, because I was depressed and I didn't have no other way out. But guess what? When I learned that I was God's chosen people, I learned my heritage, I didn't have no reason to smoke cigarettes. Now I know my way out. You understand that? And that's what we are here to teach our people.
I'm a quick. I started and I stopped.
Thou sayest, you know what I'm saying? Read.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
So sis, God said he gonna do what to you if you keep smoking cigarettes? He gonna destroy you. He said he gonna kill you. That's why you see a lot of people when we smoke cigarettes, we get what? Lung cancer, we get bronchitis, we get, what you say?
Heart disease.
Heart disease, and it mostly happened to black people. You already got bronchitis. You was born with bronchitis. So what is doing cigarettes? What is that doing? It's making it worse, and you know that. 2 Chronicles 36 and 15. Let me show you something, sis. Because a lot of people, they don't understand what the grace of God is. You been to church before?
Yeah.
What do they do when you go to most churches?
I lived in the church.
You lived in the church.
My
Okay.
granny had
Got
a
you.
church on
Understood. I grew up in the church somewhere too. But when you go to the churches, a lot of the times they do a song and a dance, they take your money. Then when somebody say, "What you learn in church today?" What you say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I used to say nothing.
Not a damn thing.
When
Let's
I
be.
got older, I started paying
All right, okay. So now, Isaiah 42 and 22, because one of the points you touch is that one of the curses that we go through is us being in the prison system. Let's read.
Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
So God said his people in 2020, we've been robbed and spoiled. We've been robbed of our nationality because we think that we African Americans. But God said we are the real Jews. We the Israelites. But guess what? Our people have robbed us because we're not in Israel right now, are we? Who in Israel? Some white people, the Israelis. We've been robbed of our nationalities. They robbed us and then they put us in the hood. You understand that? He said we've been robbed and spoiled. What does it mean to be spoiled?
Spoiled? Like your baby spoiled? That type of spoiled?
Well, you can say that, but the words to be spoiled, like spoiled milk, mean to be made no good. You not good. We no good. Like I remember,
different.
yeah, that's all good. Like I remember, I used to hear a lot of older black women say, "Boy, you ain't no good."
Okay.
That's what it mean to be spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Look at our communities. We've been spoiled. Why? Because we can't even talk to each other face to face without trying to fight. A lot of times, we shoot each other in the streets. We don't even support our own movements. You understand that? That's us being spoiled. We no good. That's what it mean to be spoiled. It's, guess what? Another example of us being spoiled is we sell weed and drugs to each other. If we want to make a profit off of selling weed, why don't we go to Plano and do it? Why don't we go to these white communities? That's us being spoiled. We only sell drugs to each other to kill each other. So remember, the point is that you said we'll be here in prison, that we will be in prisons. Read.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes.
The Bible said we snared in holes. Another word for a hole or a snare is the trap.
Yeah.
Don't we grow up like being in the trap?
We live in poverty.
Don't we have something called trap music?
Yeah.
That's showing you that we are the people of this book. We've always been the same. Read.
And they are hid in prison houses.
And God said the so-called black man and black woman, we be where, sis? In prison houses. Now go back to Deuteronomy 28. So I want to make sure, again, don't forget what we proved to you that, don't forget what we proved to you is that we are God's chosen people. Nobody else can open up this Bible and say, yeah, my people go through that. Our people go through that. A Chinese person can't come up to me and convince me that he getting shot down, that his people getting shot down in the streets like we is. A Chinese man can't come up to me and convince me that he's scared to get pulled over by the police.
Right.
But if my brother said, damn, bro, I got pulled over by the police, they beat me for no reason, I'm like, damn. I feel you, it probably happened, you know what I'm saying? But for Chinese man or a white man said, I'd be like, nah, bro, stop lying. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's far in between, you know? Oh yeah, Mexicans, but look, so-called Mexicans down the sign, they are people too.
That's real.
These curses, they live in these curses too. You understand?
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So it said we'll be cursed in the city. You explain that. Come up here, sis. I want you to see the signs. I want to make sure you're getting all this.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Yeah, stay on this side though. Stay on this side. I want you to see this. I want you to make sure you see the signs. And read that last part.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
It said another thing, we'll be cursed in the field in 2020. How, or 1619, how is we cursed in the field as a people? In the field, look at these signs. What was we doing in the field for over 300 years? We was picking cotton in the fields. They
right.
was raping our women in the fields. And slavery, exactly. And even today in 2020, the job field. What you said earlier, last hired, first fired, that's what they say about us. You understand? Now give verse 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Don't lose the point. What we're teaching you is that we God's chosen people. That's what we've proven to you out the Bible. Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Another thing the Bible says, our sons and daughters will be given to another people. When was our sons and daughters given to another people? It said our sons and daughters will be given to another people. They raped them, married them, sold them for slaves. How about today? You got kids? You got kids? Dang, all praise to the Most High. If you married, then that's a whole different story. We'll touch on that later. But you said you got 7 kids. Your kids go to public school?
Nah.
They don't?
They ain't going either.
All praise to the Most High. I'm happy you said that. But a lot of our kids go to public schools. You know what I'm saying? And when you send your kid to a public school, exactly, they learn the white man's curriculum. It started before that. It started in the womb because they try to give our women all kind of medicines and stuff. But the point is, our sons and daughters will be given to another people. Read.
That's right. And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
And when our sons and daughters were sold to another people, it was nothing we can do about it. You understand that? Get verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
And God said another thing we was going to have to do is we're going to have to serve our enemies in 2020. How do we serve our enemies? They make us their footstool.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, but right now we live in the curses. We read the blessings, that's in the blessing. They tell you that they're going to bend down at our feet. But right now we live in the curses. So right now the Bible said we will serve our enemies. How do we serve our enemies today? Nah, this is a bad thing right here. Yeah, God said we will serve our enemies. Let's see. Let's read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
So God said we will serve our enemies in hunger. If you want food, who you got to go to get it? Where you go to get your food? Where you go grocery shopping at? Walmart. Do we own Walmart? So we have to serve our enemies in hunger. And if you don't know that, our enemies is the same people that raped our women, that enslaved us and enslaved our kids.
Right.
The same ones that push these vaccinations in our neighborhoods.
Right.
The same one that pushed crack cocaine in our neighborhoods.
Right.
The same one that did something called redlining us where they put all us in the projects. Those are our enemies.
Get out.
Exactly. So what all praise you said out your own mouth, that's Bible prophecy. We will serve our enemies for hunger. Read.
And in thirst.
And if you want water, who you got to go to get it? You pay a water bill? Don't water fall from the sky? So why we got to pay for it? Because we cursed according to the Bible.
That's
but you're
right.
right, because they greedy of money. Read.
And in nakedness.
And if you want clothes, so you got to go to get your clothes. You got to go to your enemies. Exactly. City trends, right? Hey, city trends in the hood, but I can guarantee you black people don't own city
That's
trends.
right.
All these, what's some more stores? DDs, we don't own DDs. They always got a Claire's in the hood. They got these long places. These, what you say? Ross. We don't own none of these places. That's us serving our enemies and all those things. Read.
And in want of all things.
God said if you want anything, you got to go to your enemies. For example, you got a license? Yeah. You got some type of ID? What kind of ID you got? A Texas ID. Who you got to go to get that? Who? When you go to the DMV, is it a black man that's over that DMV? No. You understand it? Because the DMV is owned by the state. And the state of Texas is not owned by black men and black women. You understand that? Even though it used to be owned by Mexicans at one point in time before they took it from them. You know that? But that's going on to something else. But read.
Bring it out. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
God said this same white man that enslaved y'all, he will put a yoke of iron upon our neck.
That's right.
When did we have yokes of iron on our neck? We haven't had it? Look at these signs right here. What's this? You see all these signs? Yokes of iron? All that. That's Bible prophecy. Yeah, before Christ. Or, no, this wasn't before Christ. Well, we did have it before Christ too, but when we got brought over here in slavery, we had yokes of iron on our neck. Even today, when you get locked up in a police car, where they put the yokes of iron in? On your hands. Nothing changed. Nothing new under the sun, bro. We think we're free because we can go home after we leave the plantation. We still slaves today. Verse 60. Oh, read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So he said after we was destroyed, they would take them yokes off our necks. How are we as a people destroyed? No, not just when we go to jail in general. When you look around at the black and Hispanic communities, how are we destroyed as a people? They got us living in poverty. How about cigarettes? That brings destruction to you. You understand that? So say this, you got kids, right? What's gonna happen? Because you smoke because you deal with depression, you deal with heavy matters in life, right? So let's say if you get lung cancer and you die, what do you think your kids gonna deal with? And what do you think they might do? They might end up smoking cigarettes. And then if they get lung cancer and then they die, guess what their kids probably gonna do? The same thing. You understand that? You don't have your kids right now? Okay. Hey, we'll touch on that later. You got some? Verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
God said these curses in 2020, he was going to give them to us for a sign. A sign like, for example, say it again. That's true. Just like how we gave the one that stop smoking cigarettes. But, hey, thou sayest, but, okay, we'll see. All right, so you understand that God, all these things happen to us because we broke God's commandments, right? So there's no point of me telling you why we go through these things without telling you how to stop these things, right? So let me show you some of the commandments you can start keeping right now to stop these things. So we already went over that you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. Let's get another one. You know what I want. Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5.
Hold on. Romans 7:14 before you get there. Don't drop that. Because remember, all these things happen to us because we didn't keep God's laws. But a lot of our people don't understand is God's laws is revolutionary. God's laws is spiritual. When you see us marching, yelling Black Lives Matter, it's because we want to start a revolution. That's because we want some type of revolution. We want change. God's laws is revolutionary. Let me show you that.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual.
God said his laws are spiritual, which means if we keep God's commandments, things will happen different spiritually. You understand that?
That's right.
And in other words, another word for spiritual is revolutionary. So let me read some revolutionary laws you can start keeping today. And I'm gonna ask you, how are these laws revolutionary when we read them, all right? 22 and 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman
So this is a commandment specifically for you, sis.
shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So one of the first things he said about a woman specifically is you're not supposed to wear what pertains to a man. What do our women wear today that pertains to a man? Pants. So what should you wear instead of pants?
Bring it
A
on.
dress. Hey, sis, you already know that. So let me ask you, if our women did that, how would that change our communities? How would it change? Yeah, so y'all would get more respect. There you go. So, hold that. SIRACH 1929. Let me put it. Hey, how y'all doing, brother? Come up here and chop it up with me, man. Y'all all right? Hey, bro, we out here to teach y'all that y'all God's chosen people according to the Bible.
right.
Hey, y'all brothers are special to God.
give 'em the phone.
Y'all understand that? Hey, I'm not talking to nobody through no phone. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now, all right? SIRACH 1929. Because one of the things we showed you that God's laws is revolutionary. And you said that you asked how would they change our community. Let's see.
Sirach chapter 19 verse 29. A man may be known by his look.
So the Bible say a man or a woman is supposed to be known by their look. For example, if you had on a modest dress, do you think men would talk to you the same way they would if you came outside in a bra and panties? No. Why? Because they're going to see you differently. They're going to say, dang, I can't just walk up to this sister and talk to her any kind of way. She respects herself. Look at her attire.
That's right.
And think about how that would change our communities. There will be no more single parent households because a man will have to marry you to get in there. You understand that? And it starts with your appearance.
We used to scream Black Power while Charim was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.